Godbound Peppermint here, and today we're going to be talking about...
And Plasma.
Well, yeah, he's here too, but he isn't really going to be doing anything, I don't think.
How did you get... I'm so confused.
Well,
how did you get a gun? It's
zombie mode. It's whatever, it doesn't matter. We're getting off track. Plasma has no idea what I'm recording, but he just jumped in and yelled, and Plasma. Okay, whatever. Let me get on to what I was going to say. Today we're going to be talking about the criminally underrated but awesome book series, The Five Kingdoms by Brandon Mull.
Couldn't you, use your gun and,
I'm working on it, Plasma!
And
it's harder than it looks.
You're, circling around it, and that's the funniest. It's just pew, pew, pew.
Stop! Let me do what I do.
Every shot.
I'm not missing every shot.
Well, you missed 99.
Let me talk.
Okay. That's the hardest part about this whole game. Getting through that door without jumping off the edge.
Stop it. Let me talk about books for once.
Okay, fine. Help me.
Okay. So, we're going to start off with a huge spoiler warning, because it is probably one of the best books I've read. And I'm saying this on a big scale because I have read a lot of books. And, I'm going to say, stop it. I'm not going to say, I should probably say it's one of the best book series I've read. Plasma, stop! We don't need sound effects. Whose is this? Whose is this water? Is this Dad's?
Yeah.
I think it might be Dad's. 1 minute. So basically, stop! Okay, I lost my train of thought. Because I've read a lot, and The Girl in Between is probably still one of the... I will banish you to your bedroom, because I'm the oldest person in the house right now, and I'm able to do that unless you stop.
Okay, fine. I'm adding sound effects.
We don't need sound effects.
Yeah, but they're cool.
No, they're not.
Imagine no sound effects. Do you know how boring some stuff would be without sound effects?
My voice is the sound effect.
My voice is the sound effect. My voice is the sound effect.
No, it's not. You just barge in here on my video.
And just I just barge in here on our video and just start pewing.
We are so off track. I don't think I'm ever going to talk about books.
I think we're more talking about pewing than books.
Alrighty. So, it is really good. And I'm saying this from someone who goes to the library enough that they are regularly recognized and called by name by the library staff.
I mean, it's kind of funny when you just take off your hand off the computer. Well, you just take off your hand, you just take off your hand while you're dying.
Stop.
Okay.
But anyway, I am an avid reader. I just want to say that this has my avid reader's stamp of approval, and the 2-time winner of the junior high reading race, which you have never heard of.
Never. You probably will never find it.
Yeah, it's a really weird, tiny private school thing, but whatever. So, it is, as by far the best reader at Padre Pio Academy. I give to you my thesis on The Five Kingdoms by Brandon Mull.
I'm so confused. What is happening?
Stop
flopping through the floor.
It was a glitch, okay, Plasma?
Okay. But
So, basically, The Five Kingdoms is I'm going to start with a brief synopsis. Is a story about Cole Randolph, his best friend Dalton, his crush Jenna, and like some other people.
Yeah,
Those are his
okay.
original friends, I guess, original comrades. And they basically, it's Halloween, and they all get to go to school all dressed up, and they're in 6th grade, so they're like 12 or, yeah.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I have a
yeah.
weird birthday. My birthday is in summer, so I always have to think. Because,
Or yeah.
I was like 11 in 6th grade, but I know most people aren't 11 in 6th grade. So I need to think. 12. So a bunch of 12-year-olds, about 40 12-year-olds go to this haunted house. And there's like this huge thing where everybody's like, it was some like Hollywood dude who just like moved into the neighborhood. It's Mesa, Arizona. And
Mesa, Arizona.
that's just what it's called. And some dude, some Hollywood prop designer who uses real body parts and, is supposedly like really good at making scary stuff. Like set up a haunted house for the kids in this neighborhood that he just moved into. So all the junior high students are just freaking out and everybody's going. So then Cole, ever the opportunist, invites his crush to go to this haunted house and his best friend. So then his crush Jenna is like, cool, let me invite all my friends. So some people called Jill and Dalton. I don't remember the other girl's name, but she brought her like other friend with her. And like a bunch of other kids who are just super side characters who don't even get names really. All just like go to this haunted house.
No.
And guess what happens? Guess, like write your guess in the comment section.
I know. They get scared to death of there being dead body parts.
No. It's really depressing. The haunted house isn't that scary. And then suddenly the guy said, there's like this guy in like a fake knight costume who just kind of runs up to them and pretends to hit them with a sword and then just kind of stands there awkwardly.
Like, that is like the worst haunted house ever.
Yeah. Me and Plasma worked in a haunted house for several years. And I was like voted the most scary by...
Oh, yeah.
I hid underneath the bed and then would cry and scream bloody murder and chase after people by crawling. And I was in like a coffee-stained dress. It was really fun. I also cut myself on some broken glass.
I remember one of our brothers.
We only have one. Well, I have two brothers.
Brother.
Yeah.
There's like a drop-down painting, and then there was this one person that was like, "Oh, that's such a nice painting," but then he dropped the painting, and then it was like, but it was like,
We're getting off track.
And then they were just like, am I being mugged?
Okay, we're getting off track.
We're getting way too off track.
Yeah, this is what happens. All these videos are unscripted, by the way. So this is just a conversation we're having. We're just talking to each other with a vague idea of trying to talk about something. But this little man is constantly distracting me. It's like a game.
Okay. But seriously, though, I think the best part about this video so far has definitely been my few sound effects.
It hasn't. So anyway, they go to this haunted house, and then the guy who's running the haunted house walks out and is like, hey, so if that was scary to you at all, leave now. We're going to and if you don't leave, we're going to drag all of you into our basement and show you the really scary stuff. So, this is the part.
Nobody left.
Well, actually, some people did leave. There was like this one girl who started crying. So then this random dude who like went to school with her was like, oh no, it's okay. And then I'm pretty sure they ended up dating because she was like crying into his chest. And then Cole is just, the main character's kind of fantasizing. He was like, would I have done that if Jenna started crying on my chest? Because he's like super into this Jenna girl. So then, I'm rambling. But They go in, and Dalton realizes, hey, so that guy, the guy in the orange shirt who, like, kind of works here, he locked the door to the basement. And then there's, like, a bunch of scary tattooed guys in here who are all, like, bald with knives strapped to their waist. Did that girl just eat a cockroach? So Dalton is freaking out. Cole is like, no, it's fine, because he doesn't want to look like a wimp in front of Jenna. And then somebody cries out for help, and turns out they're getting enslaved.
Why is this so confusing?
It's not. Boy asks girl out on a platonic date with all their friends. Then they get kidnapped, put into a different universe, and enslaved for magical powers that they somehow manifest.
How did you get magical powers and not notice? Also,
Oh, they noticed.
Why are there palm trees?
That's besides the point. So basically, I'm skipping a bit here. So what happens is Cole hides when there's like a bunch of cages that are hidden by curtains, and they have about 40 other kids in them. So then all of whatever his name, Cole's friends and people he barely knows all get captured, but him and a girl dressed like a 10-year-old girl dressed like an angel hide. And they don't get caught. So the angel girl goes for the police, and Cole decides that he's going to follow them into the sewers. And he's like, don't worry, I'll like follow from a distance, and like they'll probably be taking them somewhere. So I'll find out where they're taking them, and then the cops will be able to stop them. So then the angel girl's kind of like, okay. So then he starts climbing down into the sewers, and he heard the slaver people literally say jump on the bottom step. So he does, and he falls through a magical portal. So then
this is so confusing.
Yeah.
How did just jump?
He goes to save his friends, but it doesn't work, obviously. Because one of the students literally yells, hey, there's a kid hiding underneath the car. So then they give her cookies. The slavers give this girl cookies. And it's...
Okay, that one person is like the dumbest person. That person could have freed you from eternal slavery. Instead you rat them out for 5 cookies.
Yeah. They were like the really good soft ones that you get from the store, though. Do you know what I'm talking about? The ones with like that like circle. It's like the perfectly circle sugar cookies with that like really good frosting on them and sprinkles.
Yeah, but that's not worth it. That's not worth being slaves forever.
Well, I mean, the slaves are very different in the outskirts, which is the other universe. Cause like there's this guy called the Hunter. I'll get to him later. Anyway, he is like the top dog, like second right-hand man to the High King, and he's a slave, and he's just like probably my favorite character. We'll get to him later. He comes more into play in book 3. There's 5 books. So anyway, Cole gets sold. He doesn't have any shaping power. Shaping is what the magic is called. So he gets taken to these dudes called
the Pew-Pew sound effects.
The Sky Raiders, who raid magical floating castles in the sky.
Okay.
And they are in Sambria.
How do they get up to the magical flying castles in the sky? How do you
With magical flying boats.
That makes so much sense. You probably don't understand. That makes more sense than 1 + 1.
Anyway, like it's pretty like chill or whatever, cause life happens. Let me think. I completely forgot. So they're in Sambria, which is one of the 5 kingdoms, and each of the 5 kingdoms, except for in all the different shaping power, they have different shaping powers. And in the junction, which is the junction of the 5 kingdoms, all the shaping powers work a little bit. And in Sambria, the shaping power is to create things.
create things.
Well,
Why don't
change
you
things.
create a portal to get out of there?
That's what you do in Creon, which is the other kingdom.
No.
And the way the outskirts works is if you go to the outskirts, everybody from your world, not just from Earth, they also take them from places like Lyrian, from the Beyonders, and probably some other ones, but it's most common to take slaves from Earth since Earth is the closest universe to the outskirts. Everyone forgets you, and it's not just like all the memories are gone. They're not gone, they're veiled, and they will literally ignore all evidence of your presence. You're in a family photo, they just won't see you, but you're there. You send them an email saying, "Hi, I'm your long lost son," or "I'm your long lost daughter," or "your best friend," or whatever. They won't see it. It's a horribly terrifying but amazing system that Brandon Mull devised. And everyone just forgets you. And it's really sad.
Why don't you just like use your magical creation powers to like create memory?
It doesn't work like that. It only works Sambrian shaping, which is just called shaping, works on non-living things, and it can create anything really. Like let's say you can change a white shirt to a purple shirt.
Why don't you change that white shirt into a purple shirt, and then the purple shirt into a green shirt, and then you make the green shirt you put onto a zombie, and then since zombies don't have minds, they're not, or hearts, they're not living. So then you recreate the zombie into a human.
Silence. So.
Okay.
And the other aspect of Sambrian shaping is semblances. Semblances are kind of like robots, but not at all like robots. They're kind of like NPCs, I guess.
How?
Because they don't have they don't have a soul. And how, like, I guess, deep their personality is only goes on their creator. So that's kind of like a robot, I guess. But the thing is that you could make a semblance. I guess if you're trying really hard, most people probably wouldn't do this, but you could make a semblance breathe. You can make it bleed. You could make it have organs. If you're a grand shaper, which is kind of like a governor, you could probably make a semblance so lifelike it could die, not just get destroyed. So yeah, that's a semblance. The semblances are kind of like hyper-organic robot things.
Fun fact, this is level 16.
No one is paying attention.
Except for me.
So that's Sambria. And something else is there are the western and eastern cloud walls. The cloud walls, I don't remember which one it is, but one of them creates stuff, the other one makes stuff. And they are made from the forgotten and lost dreams of hopeless dreamers. And those are these flying castles. These giant flying castles in the sky.
I have so many. How?
Well, they're more like floating. And each are full of very complex semblances that most people couldn't make, but would die immediately if they were ever taken out of their castle. And the Sky Raiders and two other types of salvager people like salvage these castles, stuff from these castles. They have stuff from Earth like basketball helmets, well, football, not basketball. I don't think you wear helmets during basketball. I don't know. And like,
What shot it is?
Yeah, they're all one shots. And also just stuff that doesn't exist, like a magical shawl that if you put it on allows you to control. A semblance puts it on, allows you to control any of them. So yeah, it just does that. And you can take the magical items out of the sky castles, but you can't. You can't take the semblances. So basically, Cole gets sold as a slave to the Sky Raiders, and he is a scout. That means that he goes first to the castles and is dropped in by a lifeboat. I imagine this floating actual lifeboat. Lifeboats, they probably were not. They were probably made out of wood, but they just are sort of floaty. They go in close. They're faster than the big boats, and you put the scout onto the onto the sky castle, and then boom, they go look around, and if they bring back an item of some kind, that makes it count as a mission. And once a scout completes 50-minute missions, they level up. But most scouts don't, and they all die. And nobody wants to be a scout willingly, so they're all slaves. Because most of the scouts die.
I get it. So they sell them into slavery to make them basically almost die?
Well, yeah. But they treat them well. It's really weird. The slavery is different because it's not like, oh, we just need tons of workers. It probably is part of that. But they don't need as many workers because of shaping. And most of the workers they need to be able to shape. And you can't force someone to shape. They have to do it of their own free will. So, they're slaves.
Free will? What if the slaves don't have free will?
Then they're not a person.
No, but what if they're not like a person, but they're like a robot that looks exactly like a person?
Then they wouldn't be. Then they would just be given a job that doesn't need shaping. But whatever. Most of the jobs that need shaping, if you have shaping, you're treated well. And if you're a Sky Raider, you get treated well. Because Sky Raiders are kind of like
rich.
Well, kind of. They are just sort of there. They need their scouts. And a lot of the Sky Raiders were slaves to begin with. And they're just kind of like, because they're all scouts. And when you start leveling up, then you become higher and more trusted. So it doesn't really matter if you're a slave or not.
So it doesn't matter if you're a slave, but it does matter.
That's besides the point. So basically, in the Sky Raiders, Cole meets some people named Jace, who likes a girl named Mira, and Mira is a shaper, who is the apprentice of Durney, the shaper, like the best shaper who works for the Sky Raiders. And Twitch, who is like a really nervous guy, and all the boys are roommates. Mira has her own room. She's a girl, probably. And probably because she can shape as well. But anyway, so they all kind of go on some missions. Cole almost dies. He gets a magical shawl that lets him control any semblance who puts it on. The basics.
He's not gonna die since he's the main character.
Probably. What's that? Whatever. So, anyway, Cole and...
It's just the neighbors watering their grass.
At night?
Yeah.
Weirdos.
No, they're doing that so that the water doesn't get evaporated by the sun. Duh.
Yeah, but it's 7. Well, almost 8.
Yeah, it's either you do that at,
whatever.
3 or now.
Whatever. So, yeah, Cole is a Sky Raider, and eventually Durney takes Mira, his apprentice, to go learn how to harvest floatstones. Floatstones are what keeps castles floating, and what makes the flying boats float. And the way they got the first floatstones was by using hot air balloons.
You use the hot air balloon to go there to steal floatstones to make a boat that can fly, to steal more floatstones to make
more boats, which you could get extra cool things from the castles, yeah. And they only work over the brink, which is like a really big canyon that goes for the entirety of the world. And the world is flat in the outskirts.
Okay, that is just weird. Second of all, what happens if you go to the edge of the world? Do you just fall off? Or is there
Nobody has
no
gone to the edge of the world and came back, I guess.
I mean, like, what if you have, like, a jetpack on? Like, would you, like...
You can't really, unless you're in Zootropolis, but I'm getting to that, alright? Nobody has gone to the edges of the world, except for maybe Harvin Kane, but he only comes in the 4th book. Now, stop it! So, clearing my throat once again, Mira and Journey ends up dying because what happens is, the castle is hostile, and the guy who is on top, who's guarding it, was nice to Cole, and he's like, hey, don't worry, you can come on here, and everything, and his name's Lyris, and you can have anything from the treasure you want, but you need to beat a trial first, but whatever. So he does that. Cole ends up killing a Cyclops. A giant tiger gets killed by Lyris, because Lyris works for Cole now because he put on the shawl. That kind of thing. But Journey ends up getting fatally wounded and only lives long enough to help construct a flying coffin out of floatstones that gets them back to the Sky Raiders' base of operations. So then Journey tells Mira to trust Cole, because Cole seems like a good guy. So then Journey is like, no. So then Journey dies. He actually comes back later, but that's not important. So Journey being dead is no longer important until the 4th book. So then, Mira is like, I think I should tell you something. Really? I'm an immortal princess, help me. I'm gonna die, and my father stole all my magical powers. And my mom had to spirit me and my 4 sisters away, and we're all hiding, and it's really not good. So, and then my mom put a magical star in the sky because she can do that, and it's all pink and everything, and it's really freaking me out because that means I'm supposed to run because danger is coming. And then Cole is like, why the heck not? So then they start making a plan to run away.
Alright.
From the Sky Raiders, because Cole just got from the outside Earth.
Why didn't you go? Break into their treasure room. Steal all the magical things that let you control people. Control all the
Only one castle had the shawls. And they only work on semblances, which aren't people.
Why don't you gather all the semblances and then use them to murder the Sky Raiders?
Because the semblances can't exist outside the sky castles for some reason. If they were made on a sky castle, they can't leave a sky castle.
What if they were made not a sky castle?
Then they can exist outside of a sky castle!
Okay.
So then, all is well for now, and they're getting ready to escape, and then a guy called Joe just appears and is like, I want to buy your slave from you because something is very bad happening, and 40 legionnaires are coming, 400, legionnaires, which are the king's special soldiers, are coming here to come and steal your slave, and then sort of kill a giant monster, and I think I should buy her instead because it will only bring you trouble if you do. Obviously, he's talking about Mira, and he works for the Queen Harmony. So, Mira, and then eventually Cole uses a bow that he got and kind of hid from Lyris, which never runs out of arrows, and just completely attacks, because a bunch of legionnaires just run in there and are like, we want to buy your slave for 50 times that she's worth. And then the guy is like, okay, I'm listening. Because that's really expensive, I guess. And then Mira, Jace, Cole, and Twitch all run away. And then they go to the Eastern Cloud Wall. I think the Eastern Cloud Wall. Might be the Western. One of the cloud walls!
There's a wall of clouds?
I already explained this.
I know.
And completely just drive headfirst into it when they steal a lifeboat. So,
I think that's a bad idea.
Probably. Then they almost die. But
That,
doesn't worry, because a dude named Liam, who was foreshadowed earlier for making a smiley face on a slave wagon, a semblance smiley face so he could talk, just like completely appears out of nowhere, saves the day, and it turns out that one of the tie shapers, aka Delkin, who is totally epic, just decides, what if I change the tattoo that makes you into a slave into one that makes you not a slave? Hi, Miracle. That's Mira's full name. Hi, I know you. It's been a long time since I've seen you, and I'm practically immortal because I have powerful shaping ability.
why don't you use that?
So then, basically, Jace is like telling Cole, "Don't you dare go after Mira. She's mine." Rah! And then Cole is just kind of like, "I don't care. I have my own girl I'm worried about, man. And she's enslaved somewhere. Mira just like isn't enslaved anymore. She's just getting chased by her murderous father." So then they just kind of run around. They defeat the Kong, which is actually the embodiment of Mira's shaping power, which abandoned her father after some shapecrafters who only come into play later kind of taking power of it and everything. And it becomes I imagine Godzilla with a bunch of cages sticking out of it and people like crying and screaming from the inside. And Karn just like completely eats half of houses, but leaves the entire other half just completely there.
So you just take a bite out of the house.
No. He just like cuts the house in half like it's a cake and eats the one half.
He just like using just like using a butter knife. He just that in his like a cup of tea and just like takes a bite out of it.
Yeah, but he does something like that.
Amazing.
So anyway, Godzilla with cages on him, Karn, is actually the embodiment of the shaping magic stuff that Miracle's dad stole from her, but got stolen again from him. So then Cole uses the magical shawl onto Karn, and happily ever after. Boom! Duh. And then they decide to go after, then Joe, the guy who was trying to buy Mira the other time, works for Mira's mom, just comes back and is like, I was riding, like, I was stealing horses, I was spending money like a crazy gambler to get to you guys, and you guys are already here by the time I get here. Anyway, they go and they decide, hey, let's go look for your sister Honor in Elaware. And then that's book 2.
Well, how about we end the video and do that on like a different time?
Well, yeah, it's getting way too longer. Well, it's like a pew interruption.
Okay, that was that is the only thing that kept this video going.
Whatever. So, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you later.